Hi, Archie.
Hi.
Hi, Archie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Are you on vacation?
Yes.
Did you have a sailing lesson?
Yes.
Was it fun?
Yes. No. Maybe afternoon. I will go to the afternoon.
Afternoon.
And I'm in a hotel now
Yes, it looks like
in
you're
Taitung. In Taitung.
Taitung.
Yes.
Very fun, very exciting. Well, I can only go
And
there.
outside have the mountain.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's great to see the blue sky and the mountains, and you have a little balcony or a deck. That's great. Well, I'm so glad we can keep reading our story this morning. Oh, it's so beautiful. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with me. Oh, that looks lovely. Well, I'm glad we can keep reading our story this morning because we are at such an exciting part. So let me go ahead and share.
You remember whoosh that time.
The wind.
Whoosh.
Yeah, this is a really good story. Okay, we are on the chapter called The Lost Knights. This is Knights with a K-N-I-G-H-T-S. These are the three missing brave knights, I think, that King Arthur sent on the quest to recapture the joy for Camelot, and they never came back. You know, when I'm ready to start reading and I haven't read for a couple days, I like to go back for a page or two and see what just happened. So if I go back to the page before, I remember that Jack and Annie had found this, they're in the other world, and they found this circle of people dancing, but they didn't really look like people because what did they have on their back?
Wings.
Wings. And do you remember what color their skin was?
Gold.
Yeah, it was gold. So they don't really seem like people. They seem to me a little bit more like fairies, maybe. But the other thing I noticed in this scene, when they find this group dancing in a circle and the musicians in the middle, is something really strange started happening to Jack. Jack was not acting like his usual normal self anymore, right? Normally, normally Jack is very careful, cautious, maybe a little shy. He likes to study things before he jumps in and does it. But here, with the dancing and the music, Jack is not thinking first. He's jumping in, he's happy, he's laughing, he's not being cautious, he's not being shy. And that sounds great, except that's not who he is. That's not the way Jack is. That's not normal for Jack. And then Annie had noticed something. She had noticed way over here, I can see these three characters right here that don't have wings. She had noticed these three knights. And she told Jack, and he thought, oh, that's great. And she had said, no, they look awful. They look sick. And so then she pulled away from the circle and she told Jack to stop dancing. But Jack didn't want to stop. He wanted to dance to the wild music forever, forever and ever and ever. So we had seen Jack doing some things that were not normal. For example, it had said he was usually shy about dancing, but he was not being shy. It said that he didn't, when he saw the 3 swords, he did not stop to wonder about them. Normally he would do that. It says that when he danced around in the circle, his glasses fell off, but he didn't care. He kept on dancing. And then it said for him, his mind became a blur and he started to lose his memory. He couldn't remember Morgan and Camelot. He couldn't remember the quest for the water of memory. He couldn't even remember his fears and worries. He was losing his memory. So something was happening to Jack, and we need to pay attention to that in this next chapter. So let's start here with chapter 9. Annie chased Jack around the circle. "Stop, Jack," she cried. "Stop." She grabbed his shirt and tried to pull him out of the dance. "Let go, Annie," he said. "Leave me alone." But Annie wouldn't let go. Finally, she pulled so hard that Jack broke hands with the dancers and tumbled backward into the grass. The winged dancers didn't seem to notice. They closed their circle and kept going around and around. "Why did you do that?" said Jack, sitting up. "I was having fun." "Look at the knights," said Annie. "See them?" Jack still couldn't see. Remember, his glasses fell off. The world was spinning before his eyes. He ached to get back into the dance. It's the only thing he could think about. "Here, I found your glasses," said Annie. "Put them on. I hope that will help." Jack put on his glasses. He peered at the circle of dancers. Remember that peered is one of those words that can mean look at. He caught sight of armor glinting in the sunlight. He saw 3 knights dancing in a row. 2 of them looked very young. The 3rd looked much older. As they came closer, Jack saw their faces. All the joy of the music drained out of him. The knights looked tired and sick. Their hair and beards were long and scraggly. Their faces were bony and pale. Their eyes stared wildly, and their lips were frozen in ghostly smiles. "What's wrong with them?" asked Jack. "They can't stop dancing," said Annie. "They're dancing themselves to death." "They must be the lost knights from Camelot," said Jack. "We have to save them," said Annie. I want to look back here at this paragraph. My pen is so big, right here. This is the paragraph where they are getting a good look at the 3 missing knights. And so the author wants to use words that will describe for us, the reader, what these 3 knights look like. And remember that the words she chooses will have an impact on us. They will influence how we feel. She can choose words that will make us feel happy, or she can choose words that will make us feel sad. It depends on which words she chooses. Remember, she chose very different words to describe Camelot than she chose to describe the other world. So let's look at some of the words that she picked here. The music drained out, tired, sick, scraggly, bony, pale, stared wildly, frozen, ghostly. So she's picking words that are not really happy words. They are not words that are making us feel like, oh, this is great. This is so exciting. They're having such a great time. These are words that are making us feel like, ooh, this is creepy. This is not good. This is maybe even a little scary. This is spooky. There's something's not right here. These poor knights, they are not well. They look sick. So Jack finally is starting to think more clearly. Yeah, said Jack. He tried to clear his mind and think. So his mind, when it says here that he was trying to clear his mind, when we use the phrase in English to clear your mind, it means that maybe we haven't been thinking in a way that is very organized. Maybe we have lots of different thoughts going on about lots of different things, but we really don't know what to think. We don't really know how we feel. We're not clear about what we should do or what is a good plan or how should I feel about this. And so we need to clear our mind. We need to just focus on one thing, let all of these other things just go away for a minute and just focus on the one thing we really want to think about and try to get our mind more clear, more organized, so that we can see in our mind what thoughts we want to have. The author had said that Jack's mind, when he was dancing, was becoming a blur. And also when his glasses came off, what he was seeing also became a blur. So what he was seeing was literally a blur, and what he was thinking in his mind was figuratively a blur. Both were blurs. He was not thinking clearly. He was just only feeling like, this is great, this is great. So as he's trying to think, he says, what about this? We get back in the dance and we take places between the dancers and the knights. You know what he's saying? If you go,
Yes.
go back to the picture here, he's thinking, what if one of them goes here and one of them goes here? Okay, so here and here. So if these are the three knights, 1, 2, 3, then this could be Jack and this could be Annie. Yes, then we can pull the knights out of the circle, said Annie. Wait, said Jack. Oh, thank goodness he's thinking again and being cautious and careful and coming up with a plan. Phew. What if I can't stop dancing again? Yes, that's what I'm worried about. Just don't let yourself get caught by the music, said Annie. You have to think about something else. Think about why we're here. Think about Morgan. Okay, said Jack, I'll try. You know, Annie used Morgan's name before. Do you remember when they were on the bridge before they went through the iron gate and she wanted him to put the invisibility cloak on over both of them, the big red cloak, so that no one could see them? And he said he was too nervous and he's a little scared and didn't want to do it. And she had said, think about Morgan. Okay, said Jack, I'll try. Jack and Annie crouched in the grass. They watched and waited as the knights danced closer and closer and closer. Now, shouted Annie. Jack and Annie rushed forward. They broke into the circle on either side of the knights. As Jack started dancing, his feet seemed high to the beat of the drum. He felt a wave of great joy. His worries left him. You know, I bet this feels really great for Jack because Jack is the kind of person that worries more than Annie does. Annie is kind of always happy. You know, I don't really ever see Annie worry about things too much, but Jack is someone who is always thinking about what could happen. And so he tends to worry a little bit more. And I bet the feeling of not having any worry at all is so great for him. I think it's harder for him to leave the dance because I think that feeling of having no worry is so great that he doesn't want to give it up. He doesn't want to walk away from it and be back to his usual self that maybe worries a little bit more. I don't know. That's a thought that comes to my mind. Now, Jack, cried Annie, pull away. But Jack didn't want to pull away. The music rang in his ears. Nothing mattered except the dancing. Jack, Pull away, now, Annie shouted again. Jack shook his head, trying to shake off Annie's voice. He didn't want to hear her. Morgan, Morgan, Annie yelled. That should work, I think. The word Morgan made Jack stumble a bit in the dance. Morgan, Morgan, Annie shouted. Jack stumbled again. Do you know what it means to stumble? It's like your feet don't quite do what you want them to do. You miss a step. You kind of trip a little bit. You get out of the rhythm. Then he used all his might to stop himself from dancing. Here, when we say all your might, usually if you use all your might, we're talking about our strength, the strength in our arms, the strength in our legs, you know, that we can pull on something. Like when you play tug of war in a class and your team, your whole class is pulling with all their might. But in this sentence, it's figurative. So I used orange. When he uses all his might, it's his mental strength, his brain strength, all of his will, his determination just to think, no, I'm not going to dance. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to break away from this dancing. So he used all his might to stop himself from dancing. That took a lot of mental strength in his brain. The word mental, here's the word mental. And this first part, M-E-N, means your mind. And so when we use the word mental, we are talking about things in your mind or in your brain. So mental strength is using your determination, your thinking that I am going to do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm determined to do it. He let go of the hand of the dancer on his right and threw himself out of the dance, pulling the knight on his left with him. Annie and the other two knights tumbled back with them onto the grass. Just as before, the dancers didn't seem to notice. They closed their circle and kept going round and round in their joyous, timeless dance. Let's look at these last. Go ahead.
But they just said have two knights just tumbled back, but have one knight didn't.
Well, I think that what happened.
It has three knights.
Yeah, right. But it says Annie and the other two knights. Annie and the other two knights. Let's go look at the picture and see if we can figure out how this would work. It's kind of a blurry picture here, but let's take a look. So here we have, we'll call this night number 1, night number 2, and night number 3. And then we know that Jack had to let go of which hand? Let's see. It says he let go of the dancer on his right. So let's find the dancer on his right. We have to kind of turn around and think of ourselves. If we're dancing and you have a dancer on your right, then Jack must be, this must be Jack. He must be a person right here. Okay, so we'll make this Jack. That would mean that if I was Jack, then the dancer on my right would be, the knight on my right would be knight number 3. So when he lets go of this person and hold on to 3, then he's going to take one knight with him. But then Annie must have been standing right here. That doesn't show up very well, does it? Let's try a darker green. So this would be Annie. And so she let go of this person. And then when she takes this knight with her, this knight here is holding on. Let me use a different color. I use yellow. This guy here is holding on to this knight and this knight, knight number 1 and 3. So if knight number 1 goes back and knight number 3 goes back, they're going to pull knight number 2 with them. because knight number 2 is only holding on to 1 and 3. So he's going to go back, even though Jack and Annie are not holding on to number 2, he's going to go back out of the circle because the only people holding on to him are knights. And if those knights, number 1 and 3, are going back, then so will number 2. And what it said in the story is that Annie and 2 other knights went back out of the circle like that. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's see. We are right. Where are we? I think we're right. Oh, I wanted to look at joyous, timeless dance. The one thing I wanted to, we've talked about how joyous means full of joy, but I wanted to look here at timeless. So less means you don't have it. It means without. So timeless means without time. Well, what is time? Time is something that just keeps on going, right? It just, time is one of those things that never stops. It just keeps on going. So timeless is an interesting word because how can something be without time? I think it kind of means that this dance did not really have a beginning and it doesn't really have an end. It's just going to keep on going forever. That time does not have any part of it. The people dancing are not thinking about how much time has passed. It's just something that's going on forever and ever and ever. And if you get into that dance and you stop thinking, if it kind of messes with your mind and makes your mind blurry so that you can't think anymore, and all you can do is feel the music going around in the dance and think that you're happy and you keep going around, then you stop thinking. You stop thinking clearly. If you're not thinking clearly, then you can't think, oh, this is not good for me. Oh, a lot of time has passed. Oh, I better stop dancing and go do something else, like my quest. And so you just keep going and going forever and ever and ever. Well, the human body is not built to go forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever in a dance. And if these knights have been dancing for months or however long since King Arthur sent them on their quest, if they've been in this dance forever, 24 hours a day, then of course they're going to look very ill and sick and kind of ragged. Okay, so the 3 knights lay in the grass fighting for breath. The dance, we must stop dancing, gasped the older knight. You have stopped. We pulled you away, said Annie. The knight looked up at her and Jack. He had a rough, craggy face. Who are you? He asked in a hoarse voice. When someone has a hoarse voice, I think it sounds like a whisper. So as soon as I saw the word horse, now this is not, you see this word here, horse? It sounds like this word. Do you know what a horse is? The animal that says, nay. Oh, yes. Because you went horseback riding with Kristen and I one time. Do you remember? So a horse is an animal that we can ride, right? But this horse is not spelled the same way. Do you see that A in there? This horse is talking about our voice. And if we talk for so long that we start to lose our voice, then we might, oh, it's kind of hard for me to talk. My voice is so hoarse. That's what it means. So it's hard to talk because our voice has been talking for so long until we can almost not talk anymore. If someone has a hoarse voice, then it might come out in a whisper. So when I saw the word horse, I was immediately thinking whisper, and I just said whisper, horse whisper. All right, let's get back to the story. Friends. Oh, she's answering the question, who are you? And Annie says, friends, said Annie. She spoke loudly to be heard over the music. We come from King Arthur's castle. We're on a quest, said Jack, to get the water of memory and imagination. To save Camelot, said Annie. Camelot, whispered the knight. We come from Camelot. I don't recognize you. Recognize means, oh, I know who you are, or I know what this is. I have seen this before. I have seen you before. I know you. We're just visiting, said Annie, but we know all about you, right? The italics here. So we go, you. You're Sir Lancelot, aren't you? Yes, breathed the knight. And Sir Percival and Sir Galahad, said Jack. Remember those 3 chairs from the round table? And 3 chairs were empty. And on the back of each chair were the names Sir Lancelot, Sir Percival, and Sir Galahad. Yes, my son Galahad, said the knight. King Arthur thinks you are lost forever, said Annie. Sir Lancelot closed his eyes. The dance, he said. It made us forget. I know, said Jack. The dancers must be the keepers of the cauldron. You can't get past them without getting caught up in their dance. Father, we must find the water. Sir Galahad tried to sit up, but he was too weary. He lay back in the grass. I think there is a father and son pair in these 3 knights because this knight, let's see, this knight says, my son Galahad. And then Galahad says, father. This guy here is Lancelot.
Lancelot's son is Galahad.
Is that how it works? Okay, so this guy talking is Sir Lancelot. And okay, so then this I think is the same knight. I think this one and this one are Lancelot. And he says, my son Galahad. So here, when Sir Galahad is talking and he says, father, he's talking to Sir Lancelot. Right, so when Sir Galahad is talking here, here's the quotation marks. He says, father, he's talking to Sir Lancelot. Sir Galahad tried to sit up, but he was too weary. He lay back in the grass. That's okay, we're here now, said Annie. You should all rest. Sir Galahad closed his eyes. Yeah, don't worry, said Jack. Annie and I will find the magic water for Camelot. But you are just children, said Sir Percival, the 3rd knight. You must wait for us. There's no time to wait, said Jack. Camelot is dying, said Annie. We have to hurry. Then you must take this, said Sir Galahad. He reached into a leather pouch that hung around his shoulder. He took out a silver cup. With a trembling hand, the young knight gave the cup to Annie. A cup, she said. Take this too, said Sir Percival. He pulled a small wooden box from a bag that hung from his belt. He handed it to Jack. Jack opened the lid. In the middle of the box was a pointer with markings all around it. A compass, said Jack. And this, said Sir Lancelot. He took a silk cord from around his neck. A glass key hung from the cord. A key, whispered Annie. Where have we heard these things before?
In the Runs of the Gift.
That's right. A silver cup, a compass, and a key. Let's see if we can go back and see where that rhyme was.
They gave them a cup and a compass and a key.
Right. For gifts, you will need the first for me, that's the cloak, then a cup, a compass, and finally a key. They have these. Let's look at what the last rhyme is.
They just get them. Oh.
That's right. So then they're going to be looking for the secret door lying to the west. Here's our picture. Boy, those knights look so tired. So the one giving the key, I think, was Sir Lancelot, right? Sir Lancelot gave the key. So this must be Sir Lancelot here. Maybe this is Percival, and maybe this is Galahad. Galahad has the same color hair as Lancelot. Lancelot handed the key to Annie. She and Jack looked at it closely. Then Annie hung it around her neck. When she turned back, all the knights were fast asleep. Sweet dreams, Annie said gently. You guys need a long nap. Jack and Annie stood up. I think we have all our gifts now, Jack said, but I'd better make sure. He hurried to get his backpack. It was lying in the grass near the knights' swords. He pulled out his notebook and read the second rhyme. 4 gifts you will need, the first from me, then a compass, then a cup, a compass, and finally a key. Great, said Annie. We got the cloak from the Christmas night and the other 3 gifts from them. This quest is really easy. Jack shook his head. It's not over yet, he said. We still have to find the cauldron with the water of memory and imagination. Okay, this here, when Annie says we'll find it, is where we are going to put our star. What color would you like the star?
Blue.
Okay. So I'm excited tomorrow to hear about how your sailing lesson goes this afternoon, okay? I hope you have a great time and take lots of pictures. All right, so long.
Rocket.
Bye, Archie.